Think about it. What if one day, suddenly, the whole world goes into an ice age? In this story, the entire world is covered in ice. The outside temperature has suddenly dropped to -60 degrees Celsius. In such conditions, how can anyone survive? In times like this, warmth and food have become the most important things. South Korea has now turned into a frozen jungle. At first, the people who survived tried to live together. But soon, they realized the resources for food and water were not enough for everyone. And then, inside the corridors of apartment buildings, people started fighting with each other. But in the middle of all this destruction, there's one guy, Han Feng. He's living without any fear inside his heat-protected fortified base. He has loads of food and beautiful girls too. Actually, Han Feng is a regressor, someone who got a chance to relive his life from before the apocalypse. But this time, he had already made all the plans and got himself completely ready to survive the apocalypse. And along with that, he even got some superpowers, with which he can duplicate food and enlarge the size of things. Feng didn't stop there. Later on, he built a strong fortified shelter with a heating system, greenhouses, and even a sauna. But the question is, how did all this start? Let's see. The broadcast transmission suddenly cuts off, and in its place, a booming voice is heard. The voice sounds familiar. It's calling out Han Feng's name. That boy, shivering in the cold, walks to the door, peeks through the peephole, and sees that it's actually his crush, Hyuna, trembling in the freezing cold, unable to speak. Without thinking, Feng immediately opens the door to see if she's okay, and quickly brings her inside the warm shelter. But what happens next is an unexpected twist. Hyuna suddenly moves forward and kisses him. Han Feng freezes in shock, and Hyuna is kissing him passionately. And when the kiss ends, the poor guy looks completely speechless, like his brain just stopped working. He can't understand what just happened, why Hyuna, his crush, suddenly came and kissed him. And after all this, Han Feng must be thinking he's some giga-chad, feeling like he just achieved something huge today. At that very moment, Hyuna expresses her feelings. She says she's always loved Han Feng. Living through such a terrifying apocalypse, she finally realized that guys like Han truly care about others. To make her point even stronger, Hyuna takes Han Feng's hand and places it on her chest so that he can feel her fast-beating heart. She says she's ready to do anything with him now. And that's where the honey trap begins. Han Feng slowly starts falling into it, his mind drowning in tiny romantic fantasies. Meanwhile, Hyuna gets even closer, rubbing her leg between his, pulling him deeper into her trap. Han Feng gets lost even more, his mind now completely drowning in feelings. But then, he too shares his emotions. He says Hyuna means everything to him, but this is not the right time for all this. Hyuna knew exactly how to manipulate him. She softly tells him to close his eyes and just feel it. Smiling with happiness, Han Feng closes his eyes, his heart pounding like a child ready for a new experience. But then, his first kiss turns into the most painful experience of his life. Someone suddenly smashes his head with a heavy object. A powerful blow hits his skull, and his whole body gets covered in blood. Poor Han is trembling in pain, while Hyuna stands in front of him, screaming in fake shock. Her boyfriend tells her to drop the act, because she too was part of the plan. Yes, both of them plan to kill Han Feng, because in the apocalypse, no one cares about anyone. They're happier about stealing his stash and resources than about his condition. The guy who, just moments ago, was dreaming of a good life with someone, now lies drenched in his own blood. He's conscious but can't move. Death is very close, and in front of his eyes, Hyuna is celebrating with her boyfriend. Han Feng's death came from no one else but the girl he loved the most. And in those last moments, he swears, if he ever gets another chance, he'll never trust anyone again. Due to too much blood loss, he starts to faint. Darkness covers his eyes, but in that terrifying darkness, a faint light begins to move toward him. He gets drawn to it, thinking it's the path to heaven. But that hope shatters immediately when his soul reaches somewhere else, and his body and spirit break into 1,000 pieces. At the end of this horrific sequence, Han Feng suddenly jolts awake on his bed. It feels like he just woke up from a nightmare. His face is covered in sweat. He looks around in confusion. A moment ago, he was dying in pain, and now everything seems normal. Not just him, the entire world looks normal again. No sign of the apocalypse anywhere. The sun is shining brightly outside, and feeling its warmth gives him a peace he couldn't even dream of. When he checks the calendar, he realizes the date is June 28th, while in the real timeline, the apocalypse was supposed to start on July 15th. That means he's been reincarnated just a few weeks before the apocalypse begins. His face is filled with shock, surprise, and confusion. He never imagined he'd get another life, but this time, he's come back with some changes. The first thing, his glowing red palm. As soon as Han Feng regained consciousness, his hand was glowing with red flames. He tried waving it to turn it off, but nothing happened. The flame felt slightly warm, but it didn't burn him. At first, he thought he'd gone crazy. Then suddenly he sneezed, and something even stranger happened. The same hand started glowing bright green. His confusion deepened, but this time it was different. He lost control over his glowing power, and both the size and intensity of the flame increased. Han Feng was panicking. Reincarnated, glowing hands, weird powers, it was all too much. He stood there, lost in thought. Then the green glow began to shrink slowly, and the effect looked totally different from the red one. He sat in a corner, realizing his energy level had dropped badly. Since that green glow activated, he felt more drained than before. In frustration, he waved his hand in the air, but the anger didn't go away. Suddenly, he realized this was exactly like the Manhwa stories he used to read, where the hero reincarnates and returns with cool powers. To test his idea, the guy grabs a knife. He hopes maybe his new power will do something miraculous, but nothing happens. The knife doesn't react, and he just looks like a fool. To make things worse, he's hungry now. His energy loss is making him weak. He checks the fridge. It's completely empty. Now he's feeling even worse. He thinks he must eat something, or he'll faint again. Then his eyes fall on a jar of roasted soybeans on the shelf. That same snack that can be so useful during an apocalypse. Not a full meal, but good enough for now. He picks up a bean and pops it in his mouth. But the moment it goes in, it turns into a whole plant. Then his glowing green hand disappears, and his fatigue vanishes completely. He feels relaxed and refreshed. Han Feng is confused. Was it because of the soybeans, or his powers? He picks up another bean leaf, tears it apart, and realizes maybe this is his new power. Impressed with himself, he decides he'll study and practice this ability seriously, but not now. First, he has important things to do, because the apocalypse is coming soon, and he needs to stock up on supplies. Thinking this, he heads to the supermarket. Within minutes, he's inside a busy market. People shopping, chatting, living normally. Han Feng is truly back in normal life. He's still confused, thinking, so far, he seen two glowing hands. The red one was stable, but the green one drained too much power. And the weirdest part, when he touched the soybeans with the glowing hand, they turned into full plants. He hasn't figured it all out yet, and the confusion is making him angry. While lost in thought, he suddenly hears a familiar voice. It's Hyena, the same girl who betrayed him in his last life. She's somewhere nearby. This time, she's broken up with her ex, Eddie. But honestly, every guy who gets with her meets a bad end. Han Feng is shocked to see her again. 3 years ago, she was his crush, and somewhere deep down, those feelings still exist. He had done everything possible to win her heart, but she never truly saw him as a friend. He was just her backup, an option. After all that betrayal, after how she planned to kill him, Han's anger is boiling. His whole body is filled with rage. But he's not the kind of guy who acts without thinking. Especially now, after getting a second chance at life, he decides he'll take revenge, but at the right time. For now, he needs to focus on survival and supplies. Hyuna waves at him, trying to get his attention, thinking he hasn't noticed her. Han stays calm and casually says she looks so beautiful he just got lost looking at her. Hyuna blushes and says he's so sweet, then uses that chance to invite him for shopping together. But Han shows zero interest, walks right past her as if she means nothing. Her reaction is priceless. She gets a huge reality check. Her face goes blank. The truth is, Han Feng understands everything now. Hyuna is only inviting him to make him her personal ATM again. But this time, he won't live like someone's loyal dog, not in this new life. Soon, he reaches Waldemar Plaza, the most well-stocked supermarket in the region. In the real timeline, when the Arctic apocalypse began, this whole plaza was emptied overnight. No one ever knew who took everything that night. Now, Han Feng's mission is simple: stock up as much as possible. He's already found an online survival guide list: food, winter clothes, medicine, daily items, fuel, and many other useful things. But once the list is ready, another problem appears. Han doesn't have any money. He's broke. He starts stressing out, but just then, a message pops up on his phone. It says he's eligible for a loan of $1,070,000. He feels like he's won a lottery ticket. He gets an idea, instantly uses all available loan apps, and takes loans from everywhere possible. And honestly, who's going to repay loans during an apocalypse? When everything's destroyed, who cares about money? Meanwhile, Hyuna is furious. She's annoyed that Han completely ignored her. Her ego can't handle that her personal toy just rejected her. That's Hyuna's personality, the same girl who killed him in the first life. In her mind, she's cursing Han, calling him a loser who doesn't even have a car yet expects her to talk sweetly to him. But right then, a car stops in front of her and honks. She's shocked to see that the driver is none other than Han Feng. Han steps out casually and says he just bought this truck. He makes her jealous by saying his dad, who made a lot of money in America, sent him some cash to buy it and told him to chill. He's just come from dropping them at the airport. Hearing this, Hyuna relaxes. Now she thinks Han ignored her earlier because he was busy. Feeling a little guilty, she apologizes, acting all cute and teary, complaining that Han behaved so rudely with her. Han's reaction is strange. First he calls her stupid, then suddenly pulls her closer and says how could he ever leave a girl like her? Because for him, she's still important. He's doing this intentionally, to make her fall into his trap. Hyuna feels like she's hit the jackpot. Her expressions say it all. She starts playing with his feelings again, says she feels the same, and invites him for a movie and dinner. But Han cuts her off mid-sentence, says he has urgent work, starts packing his stuff, and says he's already got a lot to do. Hyuna gets a bit confused. Why did he suddenly buy so much stuff? Han casually says he just felt like it, and to pull her deeper into jealousy, he adds that he's got a gift for her too. Her mood instantly brightens. She goes home happy, thinking she'll get the gift by evening. There's a confident smile on her face. She thinks she's won again. But she doesn't know, Han has the exact same smile on his face too. Both of them are playing each other. The truth is, Han will never reveal his supply secret. That's his biggest trick, his key to surviving this apocalypse. When the world drowns in chaos and cold, Han will rise, fully prepared to take his revenge on those who killed him and on Hana too.